Hi, third graders. Welcome back to our class Read Aloud of Tomorrow Girls Behind the Gate. Yesterday we finished the part where it was chapter 2 where we met two new characters. We met Evelyn. She was the girl that was doing all this fast writing and different drawing and sketching in this notebook. And we also met Jordan, who was the girl that was talking with Evelyn. And so Louisa ended up getting up from her seat to then go and figure out what is going on here. And she got to talk a little bit with them and found out that Evelyn had been like making a map, a drawing of where they were going, because she feels like this group might be part of the alliance, like the bad guys. Okay, chapter 3. I shifted in my seat, trying to stretch out my back a little bit. We've been traveling for what feels like forever, and I'm starting to get bored. Maddie writes on her notebook. I can see trying to check her ClickNet page, but she couldn't get online. A box of snacks was now getting passed around. It was of dry fruit and soy bars. We were told to bring our own canteen of water for the ride. Every fancy boarding school doesn't really want to throw away money for bottled drinks. Outside of the bus window, I see nothing but trees. I've never seen so many trees. Where are we? I asked Maddie. Glancing up, she blinked at me, and she said that she feels like she's in a place that's far, far away. I don't know, she says. I haven't really been looking, to be honest. Peering over the top of my seat, I checked to see if Evelyn was still keeping track. Her eyes were fixed on the passing scenery, though now she wasn't writing anything down. I don't seriously think that we're really in any danger. I mean, I do like the idea of knowing where I am, however. Evelyn looks up and sees me, and then she gets out of her seat and comes over. She leans into us and whispers, From what I can tell, we've been going northwest this whole time, so we're probably in Minnesota somewhere. Oh, okay, I said. I don't think taking us closer to Canada makes any sense, though, adds Evelyn. I raise my eyebrow, slightly trying to ask that question of why. Well, because the Alliance has most of Canada now. They're in control of that area, Evelyn explains, as though it should have been obvious to me that we were keeping track of how the war was going. Oh, right, said Maddie, and her face darkened now with worry. Evelyn then returned to her seat, and I followed her across the aisle. I leaned over and whispered, Could you please stop freaking out I almost said my friend. My sister, she's worried enough as it is. Evelyn shrugged. Well, I think we should just all keep our eyes open, she says, even if we don't like what we see. This is totally the opposite of the way that I see things. Things are usually fine. The smarter people than me are working hard to make sure that everything will be okay, like my parents and like Maddie's parents. Back in my seat, I watched the passing trees for a little while longer until my eyes feel heavy, and I let them slowly shut. The squeal of the bus air brake shakes me from my dreamless sleep. We've stopped in front of a huge, old-fashioned building. It is, just as the name says, a country manor, a massive stone building with ivy that was creeping down the sides of it. Wow, I said to Maddie as I was rubbing the sleep from my eyes. Seriously, wow, Maddie agrees, staring at the building wide-eyed. This place looks like an old summer house of a queen or something. I know. Now all my worries of CMS have disappeared. How cool is this? How cool to be living in a place like this. Slowly, we all rose from our seats, gathering the few things that we brought on board. Maddie got up and stretched. Oh, well, here we go. A shiver of excitement shot through my body. Yeah, here we go, I say, as we moved into the aisle to let the flow of the girls carry us along. We huddled together outside of the bus, waiting for further instructions. There was a big lake about 50 yards to the right of the school. It extended behind the building, so I can't actually tell how big it really is. But off in the distance, on the other side of the water, an equally majestic building was also showing. Mrs. Brewster now stood in front of the group and clapped her hands for attention. All right, I am Mrs. Brewster, the head mistress here at Country Manor School. She gestures towards another woman in shorts and a white t-shirt. She reminded me of kind of like a gym teacher that maybe we had last year. And this is Devi, assistant head mistress. Devi nodded her head, curtsying without even smiling. Evelyn was a few feet away from Maddie and me. She throws up her hands and starts to speak at the same time. When do we get our phone back? You don't, Mrs. Brewster's voice said. A wave of outrageous whispers began to spread among the crowd of the girls. You wouldn't even be able to use them here anyway, Mrs. Brewster insisted. There's not even a radio tower for miles. Absolutely no reception. There's not even a TV at this school. All my phone numbers and addresses are stored in my phone, the girl behind me was saying. She was the one that said she claimed she was in a coma. I need to have my phone back to write letters. Mrs. Brewster shook her head. Oh, well, there's no mail service in or out of Country Manor. Now the swelling wave of grumbling protests is even louder. Mrs. Brewster claps her hands again, sharply, and everyone quieted down. Must I remind you, girls, that the United States is at war? Your parents have paid their hard-earned money to send you here to a safe place away from the threats of the Alliance. Country Manor School has given your families our pledge to provide you with the finest education while ensuring your safety at all costs. There it is again, our safety. Evelyn scattered off to a girl that was next to beside her, but she said it loud enough for all of us to hear. Everything is for our safety. That's right, young lady, it is, Devi says. Your cell phones are of no use to you and may still be trackable by the Alliance surveillance. For that reason, they are being held in a different facility, Mrs. Brewster explains. Evelyn turned to me. If there's no radio tower, then how would they pick up a signal to track us? Mrs. Brewster's eyes darted towards her, disapproving. I just stared straight ahead. It's clear to me that in less than 10 minutes, Evelyn Poisner has managed to put herself on Mrs. Brewster's troublemaker list. I don't want my name added just because we're standing near each other. Silence, everyone! Mrs. Brewster's voice now boomed. We have a lot to go over today, but first, please hand over all electronic devices to MUL. Confused, we all turn and now see a young Indian woman with black chin-length hair coming towards us, carrying a big box. She looked a lot like Devi. She also dressed the same as all the others, in khaki shorts and in a cotton camp shirt. The only distinctive item that she was wearing was a red silk neck scarf with an orange paisley design swirling through it. That means everything, shouted Mrs. Brewster. Notepads, cameras, computers, music players. If we find that you've held anything back, your punishment will be severe. What are they going to do, throw us in jail? Evelyn said, but this time more quietly. No one responded. We were all taking this very seriously. Something in Mrs. Brewster's manner tells us that she is not a woman to be messing with, and I don't understand why Evelyn doesn't realize this. So reluctantly, we all line up to drop what we have into the box that MUL was holding. I hadn't finished the book that I was reading, Maddie complains when she reached the front of the line. She clutched her reader. You can finish another time, MUL said. Does that mean that we get our things back maybe tomorrow? Maddie asked. I did not say that, MUL replied. In the box, please. Evelyn was next. She takes out her MP3 player from her bag and tossed it into the box. Is that everything? MUL inquires. Yeah, Evelyn replied, looking away. MUL's eyes narrowed, and she is clearly not convinced. I would like to look into your bag, she tells Evelyn. There's nothing electronic in there, Evelyn protests. Your bag, MUL insists sternly. Evelyn huffs with annoyance. I said. MUL takes Evelyn's bag and looks inside of it. That's very important. I need it, Evelyn complains when MUL pulls out her notepad, the one that has all the maps and directions. My notes on... Evelyn's voice trails off. Notes on what? MUL asks. When she asked this question, my throat now went completely dry. Why didn't Evelyn just hand over the notepad in the first place? Evelyn hesitated before answering MUL's question. I feel an impulse to now step forward and help her to offer a cover story, a believable explanation, but I think this will seem strange, and I don't really have the nerve to do so. So I said nothing. I have personal notes on my feelings about leaving home and coming to here to Country Manor, Evelyn finally said in a pretty cool and even tone. As a half-Irish, half-African-American student, I feel that my experience here will be useful to other minority students of mixed races, and maybe I'll write a magazine article about it or something like that. Emuel eyes Evelyn coldly as she places the notepad in the box with the electronic devices. We'll take good care of it, she says. Evelyn returns looking dejected and stands just behind Maddie and me. I hope she doesn't look at my maps, she whispers. You're half Irish? Maddie inquires. I'm a quarter Irish. Evelyn raises her hand and offers a light fist bump to what Maddie says. My mom's name is Fiona Kelly, Evelyn says. Finally, everything electronic was collected. But we're not done. Mrs. Brewster claps her hands sharply for our attention. For your own protection, we will be holding all jewelry and other valuables in these metal lockboxes, so please gather any personal items and bring them forward at this time. And we're going to stop there. This is a very long chapter, actually 10 more pages worth. So this is a good stopping point, and I'll join us again tomorrow and share what happens when they have to step forward to drop off the other items that they brought on the bus. All right, third graders, have a great day and see you again tomorrow.